Golden Knights having great success so far this year. Does that put any pressure on you guys to succeed?
Who are the Golden Knights? No, only pressure is that the sniping that people say you got to do as good as them.
It's just good. Vegas is treating us well, and I think the record doesn't show how hard that we work, and it's tough in that way, but it's good for us in the inner circle to understand what we have going on in Vegas, and if we just continue to trust and believe in each other, the sky's the limit for this team, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Our expectations maybe at the start of the season were a little unrealistic.
Man, we're not even worrying about the playoffs right now. What we do is we take it week by week. We gotta worry about next week. You start looking ahead and you start looking over people, you might not even make it. So
that being said, to me, Urban Meyer is one of the lowest pieces of garbage there is on this earth.
That's right, man. Wednesday night, just past 9 p.m. Wait a minute, not tonight. Once again, second week in a row. Just past 8 p.m. I am your host, Jose V. You are tuned into another episode of Straight Bet Sports. We're coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, here at the Line 'em Up by Eric Barbershop, hanging out, chilling out. Third week in a row we've been here, so we greatly appreciate him and his sponsorship and letting us ride here and hang out and do the show from the barbershop. We're excited to be here as we are every single week, but we're also excited, man, because we're 1 week away from joining Gorilla Cross. We're back in the studio. Back live on the radio. You guys can see us there starting next week. New time, same date, still Wednesday night, but now we're going to be live from 4 p.m. on the West Coast time. That's 7 p.m. on the East Coast time, so it gives all the East Coast watchers and listeners an opportunity to watch live, and not only watch it on a pre-recorded later on all of our platforms, but you get to enjoy it live and direct, so we greatly appreciate that. My guy Eric is right in front of me right now. We greatly appreciate him. Line 'em Up by Eric. If you haven't checked him out, make sure you check him out now on IG. Line 'em Up by Eric, showing me his Dodgers shirt. He has his Dodgers stuff behind me. Obviously, you guys know I'm a Yankee fan representing tonight, but we got my co-host and the newest member of the show as well, Taze, and then we got my co-host EMB Sports going to join us here shortly in a few minutes, but I'm going to ask you guys like I do every single Wednesday night, please do me a favor. Click that like button, drop a comment, drop a share. We'll go from there. Let everyone know what it is that you are enjoying tonight. We have a lot to talk about, man. There's stuff going on with Brittney Griner. Obviously, we saw the videotape of her being escorted into the courthouse the other day. Questions were asked and things were said that people aren't even talking about, which we're going to talk about here on the show here shortly. The WNBA All-Star starters and reserves have been announced. And not only that, one of our locals here, Derek Hamby, got paid in a way by getting a new contract, but she also took less money to stay here. We'll talk about why she did that and everything else, WNBA as well. And, of course, NBA free agency. Kyrie opts in. Westbrook opts in. But there's a couple other guys that said, fuck that. I'm going to decline my option. But is it for the right reasons or for the wrong reasons? Do they want to stay? Do they want to go? We're definitely going to talk about that. And Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had a change of heart just a few days ago after he was basically saying, get me out of here. I'm gone. There's nothing left for me here in Cleveland. We're going to talk about that. And, of course, the final thing we're going to talk about tonight, I went on lunch yesterday, and I'm sitting there watching the Wimbledon, and I'm sitting there watching the Serena Williams match, and it was just unbelievable to see her at 40 years old playing the way she was. There's still a lot that she needs to get right before she can be the athlete that she once was when she was winning all these titles, but we're also going to talk about that here shortly. But I want to go ahead and bring on my co-host and our newest member of the show, EMB, and of course Taze on the screen. What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing tonight?
How's it going, guys? We're back. One more week before we're back in the studio, so I'm excited for that. I know Jose's excited for that, and we're excited for you guys to see what we have coming up next, because we're going to have a whole new aspect of our show coming. So,
Taze, what's good, my guy? How you doing out there in New York right now? I know it's a little bit late on the East Coast, but we appreciate you staying up with us, man.
Doing great, man. Doing great. Happy to be here, guys.
Let's go, Yankees. That's all I got to say.
Another day, another Yankee comeback win. What do you know?
You hear my guy Eric in the background? Let's go, Dodgers.
You can bring him on.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. But, hey, Ian, we're not going to talk too much baseball tonight, but you got to be honest. Real quick, aside from the way the season has gone overall, you got to be happy with the way the season has turned around since you guys fired Joe Girardi, right?
I mean, absolutely. Unfortunately, all good things when it comes to Philly come to an end. The fact that Harper was having as an outstanding of a year as he was, even with a torn UCL or partial tear UCL in his elbow, was short of amazing. But he broke, for those that don't know, he broke his hand, his thumb. He's having surgery today, actually. So the hope is to have him back in the season, but there's no replacing him. I mean, the last 2 years he's have equivalent numbers to Barry Bonds, or sorry, not Barry. Yeah, actually, yeah, Barry Bonds. So it's crazy. The last 2 years he's been the best consistent hitter and on-base percentage in the major leagues. So there's no replacing that. Schwarber is Schwarber in June, but unfortunately June is also coming to the end. And Castellanos, he's been in this slump. If we're going to pull through this Bryce Harper injury, it has to come from Castellanos. And so far he's been in the slump for pretty much the entire season. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Rob Thompson. He's been outstanding in the way that he's managed our bullpen, which apparently Girardi just had no freaking clue how to do, and how he's rotated in our young guys. So I'm hoping that we keep him another year, so and see what he can actually do with a healthy team, because it's been unfortunate, the injuries that we've had, but we'll see how this goes next couple of years. You're muted, Jose.
Yo, we got a comment from Chris Wynn. If one of you two can read that real quick, I would greatly appreciate that. We got two, actually. We'll go with the first one, and then we'll read the second one after. Who wants to take it?
Chris Wynn,
4 p.m. is awesome.
Wynn says 4 p.m. is awesome. More C-Win appearances since I'm not working my LV strip bar gig.
There we go. If you guys know who C-Win is, Chris William Wynn, a good friend of ours, Vegas, local Las Vegas radio personality. You can find him on KDON with Ken Thompson, Sports X Radio. You can find him on Heatwave Sports, Fox Sports Radio. I've had the honor of being allowed and given the privilege to be on both shows numerous times. So you can definitely find Chris Wynn on there, and all things social media, man. He's always chiming in. And the guy's a politician now. He talks politics all the time, not just sports, but what other comment do we have?
He also seems to be a comedian. He says, "Is it me or is that huge bill on Ian's Eagles cap?" No, it's just the way the camera looks, man. In studio, they'll look a lot smaller again, but my camera's kind of directly on it. So,
no, I got you. So look, man, real quick. I know we weren't going to talk about baseball. I didn't really bring up the baseball too much on it or looked at, but let's be real right now, guys. Real quick, if we're going to look at this and we're going to talk baseball, we're going to talk about overall record. The Yankees are the best team in baseball. I've said it again. I've said it over and over again. I don't give a shit if Eric's in the background talking crap, saying that it's early and it's only the first half of the season. We are 8 games above the second person behind us, which is also another New York team, the New York Mets. But 56 games, bro. 56 games. We are 36 games above 500. 36 games above 500. Hold on. Aaron Judge leading the major leagues in baseball. Not only that, you have Giancarlo Stanton, who just came back from injury. I think he's got like 3 or 4 homers in the last 2 or 3 games. I know you're going to have the stat here, Taze. But I mean, bro, yes, it's only the first half of the season. I get that. But if this team stays healthy, who the hell is going to beat this team? Let's be real. Is anybody going to beat this Yankee team in a 7-game series?
I mean, right now they're showing no signs of slowing down, but we will see. Like Eric says, it is a long season. There is another 50 more games, 50 something more games. So, we have quite a ways to go till the end of the season and till the playoffs. So a lot can happen. But I mean, there's other teams. I mean, like you said, the Mets are behind you guys. They have a solid pitching staff, and then you also have a couple other teams that are just kind of getting into that groove that could heat up. So we'll see. There's still a whole another half of the season though.
What you got, Taze? Come on, give us your New York swag.
You
give
know
us your New York thoughts.
Man.
Let me know how you
they
feel,
rank top 10
brother.
in every important statistical category. They're winning the World Series, guys. It's not going to be close. Look, the one team I'll give props to one team. The only team that can knock them off is the Astros. That's the one team.
Sorry,
that could give us
you
problems
cut out
in the series.
You cut out halfway through that. So
who's the one team?
Who do you think
you broke up a little
the one
bit.
team?
Who's the one team that can hurt us?
Oh,
The Astros.
is frozen.
That's it.
The Astros. Okay. No, and I agree. You know what?
Just the Astros,
because
they're going to play us tough, and it means everything.
It means everything to the Astros, especially with the cheating scandal and all the bullshit and everything going on behind it.
I know a Yankees fan isn't talking about scandals right now.
Who, me? Me?
I know a Yankees fan isn't talking about scandals.
Why? Because the Yankees figured out how to read fucking signs from a pitcher now that they're using PitchCom. And because the Yankees are the smartest team in MLB right now, and when they have a man on base, they score runs because they figured it out. I mean, come on, bro. Not only that, what do we have? 22, is it 21, 22 come from behind wins? I mean, 9 walk-offs or 10 walk-offs. I mean, come on, bro. Even when we're down, you can't beat us. Even when we're down. We were down.
Yeah, because when you're down, you'll just pay the refs.
Came back and won.
But when you're down, you'll just pay the refs or the umpires, whatever. It's all good.
I call it advantage.
You call what?
Okay.
Gaining an advantage.
That's it. Now here's the thing. People say we buy players. Now
there's levels.
What are you trying to say? We're trying to buy umpires now?
Well, I mean, you guys did in 2009, so.
Wait, what do you mean we bought players or we bought a championship?
Bought the championship.
Oh my God.
It is never proven, but man, if you look at those games.
Are you hearing this?
Hey,
this from a Philly fan.
The asterisk.
This is some type of prank, right, bro?
No, I'm dead serious.
I've
rewatched that so many times. That ball from Rodriguez hit the camera. So that was a ground rule double. You guys the next 2 batters were out. And then
if that's the case, the kid that caught the ball against the Orioles should have changed everything.
The Phillies won that World
Series.
What
do we got for Chris?
No, you didn't outplay. Actually, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you actually pull up the actual stats of that series,
so check this out.
In no way, shape, or form did the Yankees actually win that series.
All right, so Chris Wynn chimes in. Only way the Yankees lose on the AL side of the playoffs is if they run into a hot 3 pitchers. That's absolutely a problem. Say the Astros or Twins or White Sox. You know what? I think
this guy says the Twins.
Astros, Twins.
The Twins.
Hey, hot at the right time. You never know.
Who we own historically. We dominate the Twins.
I get that. But Taze, it's the playoffs.
You guys using a little too much weed right now.
I haven't even smoked anything. I have no idea what you're talking about here. We have a family.
No, I said
show.
we, like as in the royal we, like we. Not saying that. I'm saying we. Like you guys are saying we a little bit too much.
Oh, we as in us, like if we're the Yankees. I got
it. Exactly.
But look, but going back to baseball real quick. Let's run away with this and let's finish it off. Obviously, where Taze and I stand. We believe hard that the Yankees will be in the World Series. Garrett Cole or Nestor Cortez will probably be the Cy Young. Could be falling off because Manoah's looking a little better, but we'll talk about that on another day. But we also have probably comeback player of the year, in my opinion, in Giancarlo Stanton. We have the AL MVP and Aaron Judge. Call me crazy. Manager of the year and fucking Brett Boone after the way everything happened last year. I mean, no one's talking about that now. No one's talking about Aaron Boone being, manager of the year. You know what I mean? That's a great possibility there as well because of what he's doing with his team. Everyone, remember this before we finish up. Everyone, myself included, you could probably find tape out there of it. Wanted him fired, wanted him gone, bro. I don't know how you felt, Taze, because I didn't know you at that time.
We have some show tape of you calling out Aaron.
Oh yeah, I would do the same, bro. I wanted to get rid of him also. The problem is what they fixed, and this is really what it comes down to for me. Obviously, the motivation judge playing for the Brinks truck is the ultimate motivation in all pro sports. Okay, when people play for the bag, they play for the bag. Okay.
Yep.
The Yankees kind of insulted Judge. They didn't want to pay him the years, whatever that conversation was. It didn't happen, and now he's playing motivated. But beside that, the Yankees revamped everything from their pitching coach to their hitting coach to some of their analytics team, and it's made the world of difference. Sometimes when you get coached by certain guys, certain things click. And in my opinion, the pitching has done wonders for several of the Yankees pitchers, starting pitchers. And that's really what it comes down to, and that's been the difference.
And and there's one thing that I want to talk about too, real quick. And it's not getting much credit. Can we talk about Jameson Taillon this year? Like just real quick before we get off of the topic. I mean, unless I'm blind, this kid's 9-1 on the season. 9-1 on the season, but yet we're not talking as much about him. And what I mean by this, not necessarily should we be talking about him, but let's talk about the Yankees rotation, bro. Like, if we're being honest, who wants to see the Yankees rotation in a 7-game series? We have at least 4 guys that can go easily, no problem, right? So that's what I'm saying. And
they also have the best. They also have the best closer in baseball.
Enough said. Ian, we know what we like on the AL side. On the NL side, being realistic, not just a wholehearted fan of the Philadelphia Phillies. If you truly feel your Phillies get there, be honest and tell us that. How do you see the NL shaking out? Real quick.
To be honest, a team that I've always been terrified of is Braves. I mean, they just
they're getting hot,
they figure out a way. They usually heat up after the All-Star, so I wouldn't want to see right now. I wouldn't want to see the Braves in any series if you're a contender on the National League side, just because their pitching is usually one of the best pitching in baseball. So and lately they've been also hitting. So it's just they can get scary real fast, and I wouldn't want to see them in the series.
What about you, man? What you think, Taze? What you got in the National League? You're breaking up a bit, my guy.
Best team in the NL.
There we go. Wait, who'd you say? Now we can hear you. What'd you say?
The Mets. If the Mets get DeGrom and Max Scherzer back, Scherzer should be back next week. DeGrom gets the job done. If they come back.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Mets and Braves are probably the 2 teams for me.
Ian, how do you feel about the Dodgers? Like, in terms of, and this is not even talking to your Bulls, Jose, for real, like a couple of their stars are obviously pitching amazing. Yeah.
So their pitching is really good right now, but the problem with the Dodgers, it just seems like they start out really, really slow. They're kind of having what I would say like the Phillies were having in the beginning with Girardi, where it's, I mean, he was struggling. Girardi was struggling a little bit with the bullpen, but he also wasn't rotating like the lineup well. And I think that's what's kind of happening with the Dodgers, is just because it seems like they've been leaving a lot of unscored runs, like just like on the board. Like they'll have their 3 outs when they have people on bases, and that just can't happen. So I think the Dodgers can fix their issues, but right now they're not really that scary to me.
Right now, the Dodgers are down. Just kidding. Top of the 9th. Dodgers are up 8-4 against the Colorado Rockies. Got 1 out. Top of the 9th. Dodgers got 1 on. We'll see how that game ends up. Yankees won today 5-3 against the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's just can't figure it out, man. All rise. Aaron Judge hits homer number 29. Giancarlo goes over 20, I believe, today with his home run as well. Lots of stuff going on in MLB baseball, but look, everything else is done. Hockey's done. NBA's done. We got WNBA and we got MLB. I know not everyone is a WNBA fan, but those are the last two things that we got left. Real quick, before we finish off on baseball, Chris Wynn chimes in. He says that the Mets are a dangerous team right now, especially with Scherzer and DeGrom coming back. I agree with that, but the health is what's going to matter more than anything. Yeah. So we'll see if the Mets can keep it going. And again, you know how I feel about the homie Buck Showalter, the greatest regular season Marty Schottenheimer participation trophy head coach in Major League Baseball. He will never win a Major League World Series. He hasn't done it. I don't see him doing it now. Like I get Marty Schottenheimer. You saw him in the NFL. Great regular season guy. Couldn't win it when it mattered. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother show. Once again, Jose V, EMB, Taze joining us from New York. You are tuning to Straight Bet Sports live here from Las Vegas. I am live at the Line 'em Up by Eric Barbershop. We greatly appreciate Eric Navarro for sponsoring the show. And, of course, sponsoring tonight and the last two nights for letting us do the show here at the Barbershop. Ian's at the crib. I'm at the shop. Taze is at home in New York joining us from the East Coast, my New York Yankee brother. But, guys, we got a lot more to talk about. The show must go on. We're halfway through. I'm sorry. We're about 30 minutes through, halfway about quarter through the show now. But we know what's going on with WNBA superstar Brittney Griner. On July 1st, more than 130 days after her detainment, Griner will officially begin her criminal crime trial that we saw her in shackles yesterday. Everyone saw the video. It was 2 days ago, excuse me. Her pretrial detention reportedly was extended for 6 months. Now, she had vape cartridges. I'm not sure what the amount was, how many she had with her. But check, this happened in February. It's now June, almost July. We're a day away from July, and she's still in prison, right? Now, I wanted to start off with this topic and give my thoughts. If you guys want to jump in after, you're more than welcome to. But here's my thing. Can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure because I was told that I was a little choppy, but I know Taze was a little bit choppy. But look, going back to the topic in hand. Can you open the door? The whole Brittney Griner situation is tough because did she break a law? Did she commit a crime? 100,000% yes. No denying it. No hiding it. No one's running away from the fact that she did. We know that she was trying to take something into a country that she shouldn't have done, something that's not allowed. We get that. We understand that the laws here in the United States are not the same laws as they would be in Russia. The federal government, the customs, everything that they do out there is completely different. I totally get that. But for you or anyone out there to tell me or tell anyone that she fucked up, it's her fault. She knew what he was doing. She knew what she was doing. She was smuggling. She's not a drug smuggler. She's a WNBA superstar. She's a 7-time All-Star, 2-time Olympian. Not only that, she plays in Russia. She was going to play for your fucking country. Excuse my language. I'm just a little bit heated about it. But when it comes to saying that she gets what she deserves, like, if you guys saw the video that I posted, I was on the post-game conference right after the game against the LA Sparks on Monday. Asia Wilson was asked her thoughts on if she saw the video and how she felt. As she was giving her thoughts, she got really emotional. I decided to start recording the video, and I posted right away. Again, not for clout, not for notoriety. I don't give a crap about any of that. I just posted it because I thought it needed to be brought to light how another NBA superstar, a former MVP, a face of the franchise, felt about what was going on with, as she called it, her fellow sister. Not just her teammate, her player, her sister. But then you got outlets like Bleacher Report, ESPN, TMZ trying to fuck around and take credit and post stuff and give other people credit when everything's timestamped. Go back. My video was posted before anyone's video came out. So all I'm asking is, just because someone is not on ESPN, I'm pretty sure ESPN wouldn't like me to steal their content and use it as mine and say, hey, we got it. Now, yes, the video they posted was the media video that was released to the media video the next day. I had the video before it was even released to the media. So again, just because I'm sitting in the barbershop, just because I'm in Las Vegas, just because I'm not on Fox, ESPN, the big networks, doesn't mean you shouldn't give credit where credit is due. That's all I'm saying. Again, I posted this so you guys can see the truth about how people are really feeling about the situation. Now, going back to everything with Brittney Griner. Yes, she broke a law. Yes, we cannot expect for another country to say, well, yeah, the punishment doesn't fit the crime, so we're going to let her go just because U.S. laws are different. But let's be real. It happened right during the time where the Russia and Ukraine were going through their BS. The U.S. was involved with everything else. Russia hates the United States. They don't like Joe Biden. Putin's an asshole. And then we have a black athlete, female at that hasn't been released. If you ask me, this is a POW type of situation. She should have been home a long time ago, a very, very long time ago. All you're doing, if you're Russia and you're Vladimir Putin and the government, is you're trying to prove a point. You're using her as an example to say, no matter who you are, if you're an American, you can't get away with the littlest of crimes because it does not fly here in Russia. I think it's absolute bullshit. I think that she should be home. Should she face a crime and a punishment for what she did? Of course, 100%. But what they're doing to her is BS. And the final thing that I will say that absolutely no one has mentioned, not on ESPN, not on Bleacher Report, not on the Las Vegas Review Journal, not on anywhere. And big shout out to ComplexSports.com. They did give me credit for the video, by the way. They're the only outlet that did. So I greatly appreciate them. But no one is talking about the fact that in the video, when she is walking in to go up those stairs, a reporter yells and says, Brittney, how are you? Is everything okay? Are you okay? And she looks down and goes like this. She is not okay. But yet no one is talking about that. All everyone wants to talk about is the fact that she fucked around and tried to take some fucking cartridges to get high. Maybe she needs it for mental. Maybe she needs it for physical. I don't know. We all use marijuana for simple and different things. So again, open up your eyes, people. No one is denying that she fucked up and broke a law. We are just saying that there is no reason why she should still be detained till this day. Guys, I know I went off and it's my rant, but I want you guys to give me your thoughts if you have any on this situation.
Well, yeah, so this is absolutely a political pawn type of situation here. I mean, you had two American citizens that were detained this last week as well, and Biden is apparently going harder on that situation than I feel like he has been going with the whole Griner situation. But I think it is a lot of what Chris Wynn said, where this is absolutely the most horrific. I don't know if you can pull up the quote, but basically what Chris Wynn said was, this is the most horrific example of wrong place, wrong time. Like, absolutely, Griner probably shouldn't be detained like she is, but not only did she break a law in Russia, but like he said, a week after she got detained, massive war that's still going on right now, launched. And Russia, this whole war, they've been it feels like this is like a prove a point type of war, right? It doesn't really seem like people are still trying to figure out, what does Russia truly have to gain from extending it this long? Well, the same can be said about the whole Brittney Griner situation. And I think that the way that Russia is looking at it is the more American citizens that they have, and especially high profile American citizens that they have, the more like leverage kind of that they have against US kind of going or helping out more, and more of like, let's negotiate. So I feel like they feel like if they keep the leverage, that they can have negotiations rather than actual conflict. But she needs to come home. It's very obvious, like you said, she messed up. She has played in Russia. She should know the laws, especially the international laws of coming into the country. So what you can and cannot bring into a country, those things are things that you should know, especially as a professional athlete. However, it'll be almost a year when she's eligible to even come home, because they're saying 6 months, but who knows what if they extend it even further after 6 months. So this is an ongoing problem. It needs to be resolved, and unfortunately, I think Russia is kind of standing strong on they want a spy. I think was the original thing, that they thought that US was detaining one of their spies, and they wanted them transferred over to Russia in exchange. So they're trying to it seems like they're trying to make this more of an exchange deal than the fact that she actually broke the law. So Russia's in the wrong. She needs to come home, and it's absolutely wrong that ESPN did not give you credit for being the original poster on that video.
I mean, I'll keep it really simple, short and simple. First, prayers out to Brittney Griner, her family, her friends, everyone that's associated with her, everyone that loves her. Additionally, so this whole situation is complete bullshit. I'm not saying she didn't break a law like you guys said. I don't want to be repetitive, but
yeah.
Obviously she broke some type of law in Russia, and now they're detaining her. Dude, it's been 5 fucking months. You know what I mean? And the United States has already said that she's basically been wrongfully detained. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Like you said it plain and simple. Like, she should have already been home already. Now they're going to stretch this out and use this as some type of, like you said, political play to feed into their agenda or whatever it may be. I just think it's bullshit. I think if it was, like you said, a couple people recently got detained and they're already working to get them out. I mean, what took them 5 months? To me, it's a shame. I think it's disgusting the way it's been handled, by the U.S. too.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is a simple solution. I mean, when this happens, we get our people home. So it should have already been done already, and hopefully it's done soon.
But it's very unfortunate, man. I'm gonna say one thing. We are getting here. We are coming hard. So look, I'm gonna say one thing, and then we can close out on this topic. One thing I've noticed, though, and I know this is going to ruffle feathers, and I know some people are going to hate me, but if you guys know me, I've never held back. I've always been that guy for the last 2 years that I've been doing this show. Even Ian's smiling already because Ian knows.
Please
Ian
say
knows
it.
I just say stuff. If I'm being honest, and I even told you this earlier, Taze, I feel like the WNBA as a whole, so I'm not going to individualize people and say this player, this organization, that organization. But the WNBA as a whole is not showing enough support to Brittney Griner as they have to other situations that have been encountered throughout a WNBA season that have also been happening in the U.S. and outside of the U.S. I kind of feel like there are some teams, players, organizations that are like, well, free BG, but you kind of fucked up and you kind of pay the price a bit too. So don't hate me for saying that. That's just me on the outside looking in as an observer. That's just what I'm seeing. That's just what I'm feeling. And I'll put this into perspective for people that are going to try to throw this at me. No, I'm not comparing Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter movement and Brittney Griner are two completely different fucking things, and I will never, ever try to put them in the same category because they're not. So before you try to come at me and try to tell me that that's what I'm trying to talk about, I'm not. So don't assume. Do your research. Look at some of these interviews. Look at some of the things that are being said. Look at how much and look at the lack of how much notoriety this is actually getting. That's all I'm going to say, man. Be smart. Don't be stupid. Don't be blinded by certain situations. And don't be blinded by the shit that they want you to see and want you to know. But once again, I am Jose Villa. You're tuning to Straight Bet Sports. I am coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, from the Eric Navarro Line 'em Up by Eric Barbershop. I am joined tonight by my co-host, as always, EMB. He took the night off last week, but he's back this week. We got the newest member of our show, Taze, joining us tonight from New York. Taze is going to be giving us our new segment next week. We don't have the name yet. We're going to keep that a little bit secret, but Taze is going to be giving out one pick every single week for the games that are 4 o'clock and beyond, 7 o'clock and beyond on the East Coast. We're just going to give you guys a little bit different spice. I mean, the name of the show is Straight Bet Sports, so we want to give you some sports betting as well. Now, granted, for those of you that don't know, we're not a sports betting show. The name of the show is Straight Bet Sports because I like betting straight bets. I like betting sports, but I also like talking sports. So that's how we came up with the name. But go ahead and put the guys back on screen, man. We'll get this started. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and run this off real quick. WNBA All-Stars were announced today and the reserves as well. Give a quick update on the Aces game. 5:22 to go in the fourth quarter, WNBA Commissioner's Cup. Aces and Seattle Storm in Seattle tied up at 72. We'll see how that game ends up going there and how it finishes out. We'll see if the Aces can finish it up. Aces are 14-4 on the season, as where Seattle is 11-7, but they have everybody back. Sue Bird, Breanna, Stewart. Joel, you and I saw Breanna live, and I told you that they were at the game. You've never seen her live. I said, watch this girl. Watch this woman and watch how she plays. She's a superstar. You know that. But seeing her back on the court and seeing Sue Bird be there as well is a good thing to watch. It's great for the NBA. And it's great for Seattle because they don't have that NBA team. But the All-Star starters were announced. Now, the biggest thing that's going to stick out to you guys here, you're going to see once I give off the list, is the fact that the Aces and the Seattle Storm are the only two teams that have 4 players. There's a lot of one-year starters and a lot of one-year participants, first-time starters here in the All-Star game. I'll go ahead and name them off real quick. The All-Star starters are Sue Bird with the Seattle Storm, her 13th selection. 3 first-time selections and starters as well. Sabrina Ionescu from the Liberty. Kelsey Plum, our local Kelsey from the Aces, shout out. And, of course, Jackie Young having a great, freaking phenomenal year, MVP in my opinion so far with her first selection. Sylvia Fowles from the Minnesota Lynx, 8th selection so far. Now, if you guys know, she is going to retire here soon. That's why they gave her that honorary co-captain with Sue Bird as well. She's going to be an honorary co-captain. That's why Sue Bird was chosen. But this is her 8th. Jonquel Jones from the Connecticut Sun, her 4th. Naneka from the LA Sparks, her 7th selection. Candace Parker, Chicago Sky, current reigning WNBA champion, her 7th selection as a starter. Breanna Stewart, which we just mentioned, Seattle Storm, her 4th selection as a starter. And the hometown former WNBA MVP, Asia Wilson, with her 4th selection as a starter as well there. Some of the reserves coming in, hometown starter now, not coming off the bench anymore, De'Erica Hamby with her 2nd selection here as a reserve. Funny thing, too, she got paid today. She got a contract over $160,000 for the next 2 years. I believe she's going to get paid that, but I don't have all the details in front of me. I'll throw them out there on Twitter if you guys want to look at them later. But she took a pay cut, technically, to stay here, and it's all because of family. If you guys know De'Erica, she even posted it on Twitter. She talked about her daughter. Her daughter likes it here in Vegas. Her daughter loves it. Her daughter wants to stay here. It's all family first. And not only that, she's a starter now. It's a different scenario, a different situation. Year 1 with a brand new head coach. Why would you want to leave when it's working for you and they're giving you more opportunity? It's happy, and I'm happy to see her keep succeeding and doing good things here. But just to round out a couple more of the big names here, Agumbawale from the Dallas Wings, which was also the partner with Jackie Young at Notre Dame. They were running mates there with her 2nd selection as well. And then Courtney Vandersloot, Chicago Sky, reigning champion as well, 4th selection. Jewel Lloyd, Seattle Storm with her 4th selection as well. And Skylar Diggins-Smith with her 6th selection with the Phoenix Mercury. Now, Just a few quick takeaways here from that, and then we'll move on from here. 11 of the 12 teams in the league have at least one All-Star. The only one that doesn't have one is the last place Indiana Fever team. But here's the crazy thing about it. Kelsey Mitchell, which is on the Indiana Fever, is fourth in the league in scoring, averaging 19.6 points per game. Probably the biggest snub of them all, guys, for her not to be in there when she's the fourth leading scorer in the WNBA. It's kind of hard to believe there, but 4 players who are making their All-Star debuts here. We mentioned it earlier. Sabrina Ionescu, Reen Howard, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young. It's interesting to note, too, that they're all guards. All of them are guards, which is crazy. Historically, the bigs are the ones that dominate when it comes to these All-Star selections, not today. And here's the other one. Diana Taurasi, the White Mamba, as Kobe Bryant called her, one of the greatest, and not the greatest, WNBA players of all time, misses the cut. She has 10 All-Star appearances in her 18-year career, which is tied for second most all-time. Crazy that she didn't make it this year. But, guys, we're going to move on real quick and get on to the next topic that we have. Obviously, NBA free agency is huge. It's running through the roof. We have guys opting in. We have guys opting out. We have guys possibly getting traded. We have guys possibly leaving their current locations to sign somewhere else where people are saying, why? Why is this even happening? Now, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the whole Russell Westbrook situation. Since I'm a Lakers fan, I'll get the free agency started with that. Russell Westbrook exercises $47.1. Jesus Christ, that's so much money. $47.1 million option for this next season to return to the Lakers. Westbrook is a 9-time All-Star, 2017 NBA MVP. He was entering the final year of his 5-year, $206 million contract. His deadline was set for Wednesday for him to pick up his option. Now, I said it earlier a few weeks back when the Lakers signed Darwin Ham as their new head coach. And then after that, when the whole Kyrie freaking situation came out of him giving a list of teams that he wanted to get traded to on a sign and trade, and the Lakers being one of them, I'm okay with Russ taking that option. First of all, you got to get paid. I with the way the league is now and the way some of these players are getting paid, I can't blame the players anymore, bro. I just can't do it. If anything, I blame these front offices and these general managers and these owners for throwing out this type of money. You got a guy like John Wall, which we're also going to talk about here shortly, played 40 games in the last 3 years, I believe, and made $138 million. Bro, I will be the greatest cheerleader in the world on your bench and water boy, and you could pay me the league minimum. This guy ain't playing, and he's getting paid millions. It's insane. But going back to the Russell Westbrook thing, a lot of people think that Russ is a cancer, that he's a problem.
He is.
But check this out. If you've been reading everything and just based off of what's out there, his relationship with Darwin Ham is different. Darwin Ham wants Russell to be here. Darwin Ham wants to work with Russell and make him understand that he can still be the player that he once was, maybe not to the high caliber,
That'll
but
last
still
30 games.
contribute, bro, in the way that we know he can. I honestly think that the fact that Russ took it was not necessarily the money, but the fact that the Lakers hired Darwin Ham and
it was the money, bro.
It was the money.
It was the money, bro.
Of course, but
almost 50 M's, bro. That's a lot of money.
Anybody would take that shit. Who wouldn't?
And if he opted out, he was getting nowhere close to that coming up and down year.
Nowhere there. But a lot of people say that, well, you should have gone after Kyrie. You know, he's proven that he could win with LeBron and this and that. I don't want a Kyrie LeBron reunion. I just don't. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Let's not even talk about it. Get the fuck away from me with that. Let him stay in Brooklyn where he decided to stay. But even if the Lakers suck as bad as they did this year, maybe even worse, it's okay. It's okay. Get rid of all these garbage contracts. Don't try to make any moves. Stay healthy with the guys that you do want to keep. Move on after this season, and you'll be fine. You'll have salary cap room. You'll have enough space to bring guys in. As a head coach in Darwin Ham, you'll have some pieces in place that you know are not going to go anywhere. So you already know what you have moving forward and what you can add with that. That's how I feel about the whole Lakers Russell Westbrook situation.
Jose, the issue is that the pieces don't fit.
They don't.
The pieces don't fit, bro, and they're not going to fit. until Russell Westbrook's off the team.
It's proven. It's
How?
already proven.
It's a new head coach. How is it proven? When we haven't seen
I'll put it this way:
coach?
where
How?
has Russell actually fit? Like legitimately, like where has Russell
We don't
actually
know.
played in where
And that's
he
what I'm
made the
saying.
team in a sense better?
Bro,
Ever.
it's a new head coach.
Any team.
How do we know? How do we know where he fits? How do we know where he fits? This is a different situation.
Every player that he's
Right?
ever, like
Think about
every big star that Westbrook has ever played with has ended up leaving, playing with someone else, and had better years. He does not make people better. He does not gel with people. He divides locker rooms. Half the time when he joins a team, they're not the same team a year after he joins it. It's the truth. Westbrook is a cancer in the locker room. He doesn't gel. He does pad stat. Like he will look for that triple double more than the win every single time. And it doesn't gel well with his teammates, and it never will, especially guys like LeBron.
I don't want to kill him.
Will switch that.
I don't want to kill the guy because he plays hard under 10%.
Right, he does
every night. You know what I mean?
So
I think he got scapegoated a couple
times.
There's
an interesting quote. I forget exactly what player said it, but it was absolutely true. They said if they wanted to, they could have. I think it might have even been Kobe that had said, if he wanted to have a triple double every single night, he would. He would. And that's the truth of the matter. A lot of these guys are talented enough to have a triple double every single night. It's whether or not that makes the team better that night. And half the time when Westbrook goes after these triple doubles, it doesn't actually make the team better that night. It's the truth. Stats, especially triple doubles, don't correlate to winning.
I think he's been a little unfairly criticized in some places, but you're not going to get an argument from me about
a little unfairly criticized.
Yeah, he's a very polarizing figure. Let's just put it that way.
That's a true statement.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
there's a lot of people that are on both sides of it.
I think we both agree that this is not going to work in LA, and they brought him in to
you two. Well,
so
we'll run this back. We'll run this back later on in the season.
But speaking of trades, the Spurs and the Hawks pulled off a major trade today. The Spurs ended up giving Gallinari and 3 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray, who a lot of people are saying is not only like just really good right now, but is getting better. So it'll be interesting because the Hawks can, with Trae Young, Murray, like this could be something special. If they can get like one more like solid piece, they definitely have contention vibes.
I think that they look. There's a few reasons they brought him in, right? DeJounte Murray. One, like you said, he's obviously a budding superstar in this league, right? That's for starters. But I think it's more to limit the potential double teams on Trae, to maybe have him play off the ball a little more, so there's not as much wear and tear. Look, you're anytime you get an opportunity to get a talent like DeJounte Murray, you do it, right? A lot of times people make it out, oh, they traded 3 first-round picks, this and that. You got to read the fine print. You got to read the fine print on those picks, okay? Because they could be so heavily protected that when push comes to shove and those picks mature, they could be second-round picks. They could be trash.
Yeah.
You know, look at the Knicks scenario earlier this week when they traded. You know, they got those 3 draft picks. Those 3 draft picks they got in the draft for trading the number 11 pick. Like, dude, those are going to be second-round picks. They're so heavily protected. By the time they come to fruition, they're going to be worthless.
Well, that's kind of like the whole Nets and Sixers trade with the Harden. A lot of people were trying to criticize the picks that they gave, but the picks that they gave most likely won't be anything by the time they come to fruition. Like nothing.
Correct. Especially if the teams that you're trading with are going to be good.
Yes.
So look, man, let me ask you guys a question about that because you brought up the Danilo Gallinari being a part of this trade. So Danilo now goes from what, Atlanta to San Antonio, correct? Right? Am I got that right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing: there were other teams that were thinking about trying to get Danilo. Does San Antonio really want Danilo, or do you think they end up releasing him and buying out his contract, clears waivers, and maybe signs somewhere else? Or is this really a move that San Antonio thought, it's going to work for us?
I think Gallinari kind of fits the culture of the Spurs, and I really think he's a Pops guy. Like I really think that Popovich looks at Gallinari as someone that he can really work with and kind of fit into that whole like Tony Parker vibe that he had for the longest time. So like I don't know. I really think that Gallinari is the right guy for the Spurs. So I think they want him. Now they might restructure it or do something to try to limit how much cap space they're actually taking on with Gallinari, but I think he fits what Pop likes to do with his teams very, very well.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, they made the trade for the picks, so hopefully those picks come to fruition. They'll use Gallinari. He'll probably be on the team next year, but they made it for the picks. I was stunned. I'm not gonna lie. I think DeJounte Murray. Look, he's young. He could be a cornerstone piece. He's trending
upwards. He almost averaged 22 points per game this last season, and he was a two-way player. He was an excellent defensive guard. So
I don't want to piss you guys off.
And to be honest, I think the Hawks win this because I think he's exactly what they've been missing.
Got a quick update. 32.8 seconds to go in the fourth. Aces down 8, 78-86. Not looking good for the Aces tonight. We'll keep you guys updated, but keep it going, guys. This is a great conversation, great topic, definitely. So you say that San Antonio wins. Wait, what did you guys say? San Antonio wins this or the Hawks?
I think you get a two-way player that can also produce offensively. He's not just a rotational piece; he's a solid starter on their team. And he, like you said, he is young. He has proven that he's getting better. So you have a guy that's trending upwards, that's young, that's still on a reasonable contract to pair alongside with Trae Young. That's just going to make Trae Young better as well. So I think it's the overall total win by the Hawks, especially since the Hawks have been in the playoffs the last couple of years. So it's not like a reach for them to like go for a kind of win now type of trade. So I think absolutely the Hawks win this. I think now the way that the Spurs can at least shorten that gap is hitting on those 3 picks. If they can hit, if those picks are high and they can actually hit on those picks, then we might be talking about this in 2-3 years and say, look, the Spurs absolutely won this because they built a new championship team, which we know they can do because they have that pedigree. So it's not necessarily a let's see deal because absolutely DeJounte Murray makes the Hawks better. So like in the short term, there's no arguing that they absolutely won the trade. But I don't think that we're ever going to say, oh, the Spurs came out on top, but they might shorten that gap where it became an even trade in the future.
So look, here's my thing. I honestly am excited to see DeJounte Murray and Trae Young together. I mean, right? I see you smiling. I see you smiling, Taze.
They got other moves to make, bro. They got other moves to make.
I know, but I'm saying, but seeing them together.
What are they doing with John Collins? Exciting. John Collins and Trae Young supposedly hate each other. What are they doing with John Collins? They're keeping him or they trading him?
Are they keeping
Clint Capella? Even look,
you have to keep Clint Capella. You have to keep. I know he's been inconsistent, but you have to keep. You have to keep him.
What if you can swing what they were talking about earlier in the offseason? Where if you could swing John Collins and Clint Capella for Rudy Gobert, would you do it?
All day.
Oh, yeah.
I take that. I'll take that. That I take all day. If you're the Hawks, I'll do that all day. Because
maybe that's in the cards.
Murray.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, I mean, there is the whole talk between Donovan Mitchell and Gobert also hating each other, so that could be a win-win for both teams.
Bro, you talk about big
that's
three.
an interesting possibility, Taze.
Big 3, great topic, Taze. Rudy Gobert, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. That's not bad. I know DeJounte Murray's still young. Trae Young is young too, but he's already kind of becoming a star there. We know who Rudy Gobert is, bro. That could be scary too. And it's all up to the coaching staff too if you can figure this shit out.
That's a core that could potentially just pop off at any time, as well as defensively. That is a great.
You're replacing the anchor, right? Too. So
exactly.
You know the rim runs and all that stuff. You can run offensively too with Gobert. The same thing as Capella. So.
All right, man. So check it out, Taze. Kyrie, your boy. No, I'm just kidding. Kyrie Irving. opted in. Mr. 37 mil. Mr.
Of course, he opted in.
Mr. I don't do this for the money. Mr. I don't work for anyone. Mr. I do this for myself. Mr.
Sure
when I do something, it's gonna be shown and proven that I did it my way. I'll see you in the fall or whatever the hell it is he said, or I'll see you in New York. Correct. You're damn right. You got to go to work. You don't get paid if you don't go to work, Kyrie.
Behind this too.
How much money did you lose because you didn't want to go to work last year? Because your ass wanted to do what you wanted to do. Now I get it. Hold on, Ian. I get it. I have nothing wrong with people standing up for what they believe in. But Kyrie, you a fool.
Better be $17 million worth of beliefs, bro.
Taze said it best. It better be $17 million worth of beliefs, and you better be praying to the highest of the highest. Because, bro, I don't even know if you want to play basketball anymore, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, do you even want to play ball anymore? What you got, Ian?
That's a good question. And I think this is something that not a lot of people are talking about. I don't think this is anything to do with the money. I think he's opting in because I think there's something going on behind the scenes. I think there's a little bit extra. I think the Nets might have told him that they actually plan to actually do what Durant wants and sign and trade Durant. Because I do think there's a rift between Durant and Kyrie. You could see it the way that Durant started talking about Harden and Kyrie, basically in the sense of we need players here, right? Like he started talking about that midseason. Like he's the only one on the court. He feels like this was not supposed to happen this way. I really think that there's a really strong chance that the Nets say, look, Kyrie, if you want to opt in, we will look in a way to do the, either mitigate the damages between you and Durant or get Durant to another team. Because I really think that not all of the, like, especially with Ben Simmons there still, like, I really don't think the three of them are going to gel. So I think one of those three is gone. And if I was them, I would try to get, I think the greatest value you have as a chip is Durant. So if you're really saying, let's try to keep the majority of this core together and get as much as possible as we can right now, Durant would be the best sign and trade prospect for them. Kyrie, everyone knows the talent there, but because of the offseason, he's not as high value as Durant is. So it makes a lot of sense from the Nets organization to try to keep Kyrie there because they know what type of talent he is, and they've already been dealing with all the offseason, and try to see if they can appease Durant's issues and get Durant somewhere else. Portland, Chris Wynn said Durant may end up in Portland. Damian,
hell to the no, you crazy. You tripping, Chris.
Hey,
I love you, Chris, but you tripping. He ain't going to Portland.
Hey, wasn't it Durant or Lillard that even posted on their Instagram story like a picture of both of them in uniform? So it's obvious that they have a mutual respect for each other. And heck, as a duo goes, that would be a very strong duo. You have another player that can shoot, but the difference is Damian doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands the way that Kyrie does.
True. Real quick. Hold your thought.
Together.
Hold your thought. Aces go down by 10, 88-78 final. Yeah, man. Not a good look for the Aces tonight. Tough loss in the WNBA Commissioner's Cup. But continue, Ian. Finish up what you were saying, my man.
But I like I said, I don't think it's necessarily about the money, whereas Westbrook's deal, I definitely think is more about the money than actually winning a ring. But talking about that, I don't know if you have it. I'm going to go to the next person that opted out. So if you guys have anything more to say about Kyrie.
No, I just want to bring up the point that I told this to Jose earlier before the show.
Yeah. Hold on. Let Taze go. I'm sorry, Taze. Yeah, I know you had something to say. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll be quick and brief. Look, I don't think this means anything. Kyrie took the money because he has the option to sign a 5-year contract with the Nets. If he were to opt out, yes, he's leaving money on the table for one season, but he would be limited in the amount of money he can get. So to me, this doesn't close the door for a potential extension and a trade. I think that's where this is headed. Look, Brooklyn tried to form, the All-Star team. They tried to, skew the deck in their favor. and it fucking backfired. It fucking backfired. They have no young players whatsoever. They don't have much on the horizon really, and when they lose these two guys, and if they get nothing for them, they're fucked for a long time. So
it would be very interesting if Ben Simmons ends up being like the only one of these people that are still on
look,
the team.
I know a lot of people love Ben Simmons. You probably hate Ben Simmons, Ian. You know what I mean? If you're a Sixer fan, I would hate him.
I love Ben Simmons' tattoo. He was telling
The
me
only thing that Ben Simmons wants to do is play Call of Duty.
He's gonna get one here that says "I miss."
If Ben Simmons wants to be good, he needs to get his ass in the gym and put the PS5 controller down.
His back from carrying his team for years is broken beyond repair. Apparently.
So look, here's the thing too about Kyrie, and you and I talked about it earlier, Taze, as well. Does he finish the year with the Nets? That's the next question, right? If we're being honest, because
Kyrie,
we know he took the deal for the money. It's not about fucking playing. It's not about legacy. It's not about winning a title in Brooklyn. He took it because of the money and the money that he lost simply playing, and because he could not get the sign and trade deal that he wanted. Now, you and I talked about it earlier, Taze. If we're talking technicalities, he can still technically get that sign and trade, right? He signs an extension.
Yeah.
The team finds a team that wants to trade for him if they're okay with all that. Before the extension, it's all talked about. Before the trade deadline, boom, Kyrie gets moved. Not a problem. I agree with you. I don't see him lasting. I think midway he's gone. I think trade deadline he's going somewhere else. And I honestly think that the whole KD and Kyrie relationship, whatever you want to call it, it's broken. I honestly believe so.
I mean, I'll be honest. They didn't even give it a chance.
They did. No. They never did.
They all sold out before they even all gave it a fair shot.
Exactly.
Which is crazy to me because they turned their lives upside down to come together and play together, and then literally didn't even try it.
Yeah.
Never. Not once did they actually fully establish themselves as a team and play together and do what they had to do. And that's what sucks, that we never, even when they had all the other quote unquote name players that weren't superstars like them, but they were, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, just the names across, the names that they signed. Remember that? You had all these names with the big names, but yet you never did anything with it. If we're being honest, that's like watching the Lakers last year, right? If we're talking about comparisons, we're talking about names that have been, even the names that they had on the bench weren't big superstars, but they were names that you knew of, guys that you knew of, whether it was in college or in the NBA for some shape, form, or reason. You knew of them. It's the same type of disappointment, bro.
No, I agree with that. I think that's a solid comparison, Jose, because the Lakers, it did seem like they just weren't really trying. But again, I think there's a little bit of the reason. But also with the Nets tried really, really hard to kind of scapegoat the whole situation there and put it all on James Harden. And talking about that, James Harden did decide to opt out of his player option for $47 million. But the reasoning he said behind it is because he wants to put together as good of, he wants the Sixers to be able to afford more players to put around Embiid and that core.
So Ian, I'm hearing that he's trying to do something like a restructure where possibly, this is just from what I'm reading, he's trying to do a restructure of possibly 2 years, lower money spread out over 2 years, but where he can still help out to bring in more players.
When these guys sign these deals, real quick, and then Ian, you can finish. When these guys sign these deals, right? Like you look at Russ's deal, his final year this year that he just opted in was $47 million because it balloons.
Yeah.
Right. So when guys restructure, they kind of work with the team. They may get a little, the money varies, and it will decrease in year one where they could have some flexibility this year, maybe to sign other guys. So go ahead, Ian.
And that's exactly what he said. He said, in his opinion, I mean, he's made money in his career, and winning rings and championships is way more important to him than just getting a payday. So he said that he's opting out to help the team, whereas I don't necessarily think that Kyrie and Westbrook are doing the same thing. I think it's a lot about what money they can get and really screw the rings for them.
Once again, you're tuning in to Straight Bet Sports. I am your host, Jose V. Ian B. We got the homie Taze, the newest member of the show, joining us live from New York. I am here in Las Vegas, Nevada, chopping it up with you live from Line 'em Up by Eric Barbershop. I know you hear some sounds in the background. It's okay. We're hanging out. We got people here live watching the show tonight. We greatly appreciate everyone that's here in attendance. Obviously, Eric Navarro, my neighbor, the homie Jay, is chilling with us here. And of course, Jay Madrazos producing the show tonight, man, doing everything, the camera movements, everything coming up on the screen, the audio, everything that you see. Jay is taking care of it, man. So we greatly appreciate you, Jay, for coming in, doing what you're doing, growing with us as well, my guy. You're doing a lot of good things for us. So we greatly appreciate you. Taze, I'm gonna say this respectfully, bro. I think we popped the cherry tonight, my man. I think you threw the cape off and you're like, let's go. Jumped in the water. I'm feeling good. What do you think, Ian? Your Taze is a little more relaxed from last week, right? I know you saw the show last week.
Yeah, we need to get you a better Wi-Fi connection, but
that's probably got to be worked on, but
but
we'll get there.
No, I definitely feel like you're a lot more relaxed. So.
I am. I feel more relaxed.
And obviously, I don't know about Jose, but I actually feel a lot more relaxed when I'm actually in studio. Just because I have a lot of stuff going on. I have my son, my wife, they're in the other room, so it's easier for me when I'm actually in studio. And luckily, we get back in the studio next week, so good things coming for our show, man.
So look, we're gonna be live probably till like about 9:30. I know Taze is okay with that. Ian's got to go in about 10 minutes. So look, we got two more topics that we want to talk about. One of them, I know Taze and I are gonna get into it for sure because we talked about it earlier, and I know Taze has some thoughts on it. So we'll leave that one for the last one. But for this one, we'll talk about something that I know all three of us will talk about, and I know definitely Ian has some thoughts on it. So Ian, I'm actually gonna let you run with this one.
Okay.
I'll start it off, and you go with it.
All right.
What the hell is going on with Baker Mayfield? All of a sudden, we have a change of heart. Oh, wait a minute. Deshaun Watson might be suspended for a year. Oh, wait a minute. The Houston Texans just got named in the lawsuits as well. Oh, my God. It looks like Deshaun's not going to play. The only guy that I got to fight with for my job now is Jacoby Brissett. With all due respect, Jacoby's serviceable. He's been a starter. He's gotten paid. He's gotten contracts. But if you're Baker, all of a sudden, the door's wide open for me to play one more year, prove myself, and I'm out. Maybe I could get paid, and Deshaun gets what he wants. Ian, am I tripping here? Is this about money, or what is it about?
So I actually have it. I've had it the whole show pulled up because I was curious when you brought this topic to me. The actual quote here, I'm going to read the whole thing. The actual quote was, he was asked about his relation with the Browns. He says, I think it's been pretty obvious. The mutual decision on both sides is to move on. I'm thankful for my 4 years in Cleveland. There's a lot of ups and downs and a ton of learning experiences that I'll forever keep with me. The support staff in Cleveland, the people of Cleveland, it's a great sports town. There's no resentment towards the city of Cleveland by any means. I think for a return to Cleveland to happen, there would have to be some reaching out. He hasn't said they have yet. He said there would have to be some reaching out. We're ready to move on, I think, on both sides. So I think this is more of a thing where he's trying to, not necessarily shoot himself in the foot by saying anything bad about the Cleveland organization and keep that window open if Deshaun gets a full year suspension. But I think at the same time, it also is saying that we're ready to move on. So if we trade, I'm ready for my next team. But I'm also not going to cause any problems in the locker room. I don't necessarily think everything is good. I want to be a Cleveland Brown. I'm going to play for them, blah, 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 blah. I think this is more of I want them to know, at least on my side, I am ready to move on if they are ready to reach out to me and actually have a proper discussion about this. I think this is a very mature way of thinking, and I think this kind of shows Baker's maturity throughout the years, that even though the Cleveland Browns have handled this horrendously, I think this is his olive branch saying, hey, if you guys want to reach out to me, maybe we can work something out I'm open to possibly returning to you guys if that becomes the case.
Yeah, I mean, of course he's saying that. He wants to be the starting quarterback, and nobody else wants him. So
everyone does, though. Like, you're never, even the backups, like career backups, Ryan Fitzpatrick, you never heard him say, I want to be a backup for my entire career. Everyone wants to be a starting quarterback. Some people are a little bit more realistic about their talent levels on that, but every single player that's a quarterback at that level wants to be a starting quarterback.
Okay, but nobody wanted him when he was available.
That's
and
true.
now what are his choices?
Although now you're also having the Browns talk about, because they hadn't Jose, you're muted.
I said thank you, Taze. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yo,
nobody wanted him. Hold on, I'll give you the scenario.
Ian,
I'll give you the scenario. I want you to go next. You're next.
Okay.
I don't want to take it away from you. You're still going. But Taze just brought this up, and I don't want to go away from it either. Seattle decided to go with Drew Lock and Geno fucking Smith. Think about that. Continue, Ian.
So the how this has advanced though is the Browns are now talking about they are willing to take part of his contract to trade him. A lot of teams didn't want. I think, and I do think this is true. A lot of teams didn't want Baker because they didn't feel like, based off of how he did last year and what they've seen and the unknowns about Baker, that they were ready to pay that full contract. So now that the Browns are saying, hey, if you guys agree to a trade, we'll absorb some of that contract. I think a little bit more teams are actually interested in the potential talent levels of Baker than they were before. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that the talent and the contract didn't necessarily add up, so it didn't make a lot of sense for a lot of front office.
So let me ask you guys a question. You see the comment there from my guy Chris Wynn. Bottom line, all things considered, guys, the Browns look like complete idiots, even if making this deal. Only way it will be looked at as a win is if he comes back next year and they win the Super Bowl. That's it. Agree or disagree?
No, I actually disagree. I think this is the loss all the way around. I think if they win maybe multiple Super Bowls with Deshaun Watson, then yeah, you can say it is a win. But no, even if they win the Super Bowl next year, everyone's still going to be talking about how they basically sold their soul to win the Super Bowl. So I think the way that they have handled this entire situation, top from bottom, that the Browns organization has a lot of answering to do, and I think that they have kind of out-browned themselves.
He said, watch Drew Lock have a Pro Bowl season in 2022-23 just because Jose said that. Hey, see, Win, you've been following everything I've been doing media related. Draft, pre-draft, all that NFL. You know how high I was on Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock coming out of college. The freaking guy didn't pan out in the NFL so far, so I don't know what he's going to do in Seattle. So we'll see. If the guy ends up winning an MVP in a Super Bowl, I'll get his little name, like his little fixture of his body, like a little player of him with a jersey tattooed on me. How about that?
Okay, another tattoo. I'm getting a sense Jose just really, really wants to get tattooed because that's
we
the
got
second,
two going now, right? What's that?
That's the
second
tattoo
one?
bet in 2 weeks. That
at least two,
right?
At least two, yeah.
So he's going to have a Jets 9-8 2022 champions tattoo on him, and he's going to have Drew Lock tattooed on him. Man,
Taze, what you got, my guy? Come on, give me your thoughts on the whole Baker situation.
Oh, with Baker?
Yeah.
Oh, he'll never consistently start in this league again, dude. He's done. He might hold the clipboard, but he'll never be penciled in as the starter like week 1 without some other thing happening, whether it's injury or that. I told you before the show, and you said I was crazy. If Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield are on the roster and they're in competition, Jacoby Brissett will win the starting quarterback job for the Cleveland Browns.
Put me up. You are tripping. You are absolutely
okay,
bro. I don't know if you smoke weed or not, but if you do, please let me know who your weed dealer is, because for you to say that Jacoby Brissett would beat out Baker Mayfield next year, I'm sorry.
He would.
Bro, really? How?
Yeah.
How?
So it's actually
hold on. Ian, hold on. Ian, hold on. Taze,
How would Baker Mayfield beat out? I'm sorry. How would Jacoby Brissett beat out Baker Mayfield?
Jose, they don't want him. They don't want Baker Mayfield. They've made that very clear.
The team, the players, the locker room. What?
They don't believe in him. They don't want him. They don't believe in him. They would have never gotten Deshaun Watson with all his fucking baggage if they believed in Baker Mayfield. The only reason that we're even talking about this is because Watson may be suspended. Like, Baker Mayfield was halfway packed and out of Cleveland.
My boy Mark chimes in and says, KC Chiefs will be back. Mark my words. I think the Chiefs will be good. We're not going to talk Super Bowl. But, Ian, what were you going to say real quick? Because I know you wanted to comment on what Taze was saying.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, Brissett is, I mean, I think he has a winning record.
He's won in this league, right? He can manage the game.
Are you going to talk about
okay, listen, though. So he has a winning record. He also has a leadership mentality. He also has a leadership mentality. That team, from what I've understood, every locker room Jacoby's ever been a part has always rallied around him. In fact, Elman and went on podcast just this last week and kind of talked about that whole week between Jacoby and Garoppolo and how Brissett actually had more of the locker room than Garoppolo did. So he is a natural born leader. He can get the job done. He doesn't turn the ball over.
You're talking about in New England?
What?
You're talking about in New England?
He had a good year in Indy too.
Brissett in New England. I'm talking about Brissett with the Colts.
Okay.
Like Brissett, everywhere he's gone has rapport. Just going.
He's a good locker room guy. He's a good leader. He's a good leader.
So he can win. He, like I said, he doesn't turn over the ball much. He is very cautious with the ball. He is talented. He's just not he's not consistently talented. So he's not going to make wow you with his arm, but he makes the smart plays. I could see it. I could see their training staff looking at Brissett and saying, "Hey, look, if we can't roll with Deshaun Watson, we're going to roll with Brissett." So I can see it.
So Chris chimes in real quick. I 10,000% agree with Ian on Baker. It's not that nobody wants Mayfield. It's that they didn't want to give up the Browns. We're looking to get guys in return. I'm a Lions fan. I take Baker all day. I'm a Jets fan, and I would have taken Baker, but I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of interested to see what Zach Wilson's going to do next year. I was very hard on the kid last year coming into the draft. When he got drafted, I talked a lot of shit about it, but I'm very interested to see what he's going to do this year. I think the Jets did a little bit better. I can see some confidence in the kid. Obviously, not trying to go off topic. That's a whole subject for another conversation. Yeah. But, Ian, I know you got to go, my guy. It's 9:20. You said you wanted to dip out. I'll let you get your final thoughts out here before you go. Go ahead, my guy. We'll get him on camera by himself. Let us know what you got.
All right. So just make sure, as always, make sure that you follow Jose, Taze, myself, Ian B _sports, Twitter. I'm not on Instagram that much, but make sure you follow me everywhere you can. We're back in the studio next week. We're very excited about that, guys. We have a big guest coming in. I don't know if Jose wants me to release who it is, or we'll do that at the end of the week. I'll let him decide that. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm glad you said that because I'll finish it out with you. I want to give a huge shout out to the gentleman on the screen this way that you see here. Went out his way to do it on his own. Didn't even tell me about it. Just hit me up and said, "Hey, I got Ernesto Starboy Rodriguez, 3-0 MMA fighter, tough enough, Bellator.
3-1.
3-1. I'm sorry. 3-1. Cuban, 24 years old, out here chilling in Las Vegas. He's an MMA fighter. He's a pro. He's up and coming. I actually mentioned his name today on a couple spaces with some MMA people that bet MMA. They knew exactly who he was. They said it was a great get. So big shout out to you, Ian. Ian went out of his way. He found the guy. He hit him up. He booked him. He hit me up. Jose, when we get back to the studio for a show, we got this guy. He's good. He's going to be in studio. He's ready to go. I'm like, hey, let's do it. Great way to take initiative, my guy. I greatly appreciate you. But, hey, good stuff. Next week, 4 p.m., Ian, myself, Gorilla Cross Radio. Taze will be joining us as well.
we'll have our new segment with Taze. So please chime in for that. But Ian, thank you again, my guy. Get as much rest as you can. I know you got to go to work here shortly, but we greatly appreciate you jumping on and doing your thing. As always, I'll see you next week in the studio. Don't be late, bro.
Never am, bro. Never am. All right.
All right, my guy.
Have a good night.
Once again, you're tuning to Straight Bet Sports live here from Las Vegas, Nevada. I am your host, Jose V. It's now myself and Taze. Ian is gone for the night. Great stuff by him as well as he does every single night here Wednesday with us when we're chopping it up, talking sports and all things sports betting as well from time to time. But I got my ass kicked today. I ain't gonna lie. I gave out some stuff, didn't look too good. But if you guys have been following us on gambling Twitter, Plug Spaces, Plug Talk every single morning, we break down the whole freaking card, man. It's stuff that you don't find anywhere else. You guys are missing out if you don't do it. Parlays galore, Wise Guys Diamond Club. Shout out to my guy Sosa. Shout out to my guy Spin Doc. Rex. All the guys over there doing their thing, man. My guy Steve hit me up the other day. I haven't responded to him, but we're going to be doing a college basketball preview as well, leading up into the college season coming here. He wants me to talk some Mountain West, so definitely I'll go ahead and do that with him coming up here shortly in the next couple of weeks. But put my guy Taze back up on the screen. My guy, we got one more thing we want to talk about today. I was telling you earlier, when I went on lunch yesterday, I was watching the Serena Williams match, man, in Wimbledon, and make fun of me if you want, whoever it is. I could care less. Miles Bridges trying to get the max on and off the court. We're away from the NBA, but thank you for that comment. Great job, guys. Mark Newell, appreciate you. My guy Mark as well, been chopping up with him, riding with him for a few years now. But Taze, back to the whole thing. Serena Williams, 40 years old. Great match to watch yesterday, if we're being honest. I mean, there's no going around it. The fact that she was one serve away from winning her first major tournament start match game, however it's called, in over a year, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And she looked good at times, and she looked like Serena of old, but then at times she looked like the Serena that gained weight, the Serena that was a little bit out of shape, the Serena that not only lost a step, lost steps, if we're being honest here, because some of these shots she wouldn't even try. As where in the past, we would see her diving, stretching, doing the splits to hit some of these things, right? But not to take anything away from the loss that she had yesterday. She literally went all the way down to sudden death, the final thing. They were 6-6 in the final set. First to 10 wins it all. She's up 4-0 to start the set. It's looking good. And then the French just come through, and she takes the game, takes the set, takes the match, calls it a day. And Serena goes home. I mean, I love what I saw from Serena. It's great to see her back. The fact that she played when she was pregnant, bro, and won a major tournament, major title. Incredible, right? Just unbelievable.
Incredible. Mind-blowing, to be honest.
Mind-blowing. I don't care if you're 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 9 months. She was pregnant. Simple and plain. And she was out there dominating in just a beautiful fashion. And again, if you're someone that watches tennis or hasn't watched it, I highly recommend that you watch women's tennis. Not just Serena Williams, just women's tennis in general. I grew up in South Central LA. Serena was right down the street in Compton. I used to go to the pool at the park, was at the same park, which was the tennis courts where her dad used to take her and Venus to go freaking play, bro, where they started their career. So I know about all that. I remember watching her and her sister when her sister was better than her when they first started.
She was. Her sister
when
went pro first.
When they took off remember when her sister took off the beads and she's over there giving them on the stands after she won Wimbledon. It was a sight that we'd never seen before. These teenagers, Black kids, African Americans, something that you never thought you would see. People were shocked. How is this even possible, right? But bro, me seeing that as a kid from LA, South Central LA, to top it off, a Hispanic kid in the minority, bro, that gave me like, if they can do it, if they can make it, and it's a sport that no one thought that they or someone like them would be in and would be so competitive and so dominant in, bro, we can do anything. Look what we're doing now behind a camera. We're still doing what we're doing. We're doing what we love. That gives you hope and shows you that no matter who you are or where you come from, that you can freaking make it, bro. She is, in my opinion, and I'm not going to give you a list and break down names because I don't have all that. But not only is she one of the best tennis players, not just female tennis players, but tennis players of all time. She has got to be one of the top 5, if not, call me crazy, top 3 athletes of all time, Taze.
I don't know if I would go that far. I don't want to knock her because she's a GOAT. She's incredible. She's incredible.
Definitely.
She's always been incredible. I don't know if I could say top 3 in any sport. But she's definitely a GOAT in our lifetime for sure, specifically in tennis. And, we spoke about this before the show. Look, she's coming back. She took a lot of time off. She was completely out of shape. Let's be honest. She was able to hold her own a bit because she's still Serena Williams. She's still amazing at tennis. So even out of shape, she was able to do that. But I think, and I told you this before the show as well, I think she has her eyes on the U.S. Open. And I think we could see her hopefully in the next 2.5 months, 3 months, get in a little bit better shape and gear up for that tournament. It's a tournament she's always done well in, a tournament she loves. And I think we see her in shape, and I think we see her competing at a high level for that. Look, I read some things about her.
I agree, bro, 100%. I
read,
can't talk you off of it. Like in the words of Taze when he's in spaces, I can't talk you off of it, my guy.
It's true. And I will say too that what was my thought? So she obviously 75% of Serena Williams could win the US Open. She's a GOAT. So I could see it. I could see her competing. I could see her making the finals, maybe even winning it. And I read some comments after her last match, right? I watched a little bit of her play doubles, to be honest, and that's when I knew right away that she was out of shape. And I saw her comments, and she was kind of saying that she almost like shocked herself about how well she played coming off the layoff and being out of shape. And like as she walked off, she took from it that I could still do this, which means to me, she'll put the work in. And I think in 2 months, we'll see her competing at the US Open at a high level. And if she wins it, you may never see her again. In all honesty, in all likelihood, because like a couple of the guys said in the comments, obviously she's older. I think this is a prove it situation where she's coming back to say like, look, I could still do this. I could still dominate this sport. And I think we could see it at the US Open. That's my honest opinion.
So here's another funny thing real quick. Okay. So I agree with you 100%. I honestly think that Serena's okay with losing this, as crazy as that sounds, because I think it's just going to be a tune-up for her. And I think that for her to come back at Wimbledon with that atmosphere, if you saw the match and you heard the judge had to kept telling people, please, okay, please keep it down. Okay, thank you. You know what I mean? Even Serena at times was standing there taking a deep breath like, thank you, but okay, I got to get back to this. And the same thing with Harmony. Harmony was doing the same thing at times. And if I'm being honest, Harmony looked like she was getting frustrated at times. Now, I wanted to go back to Harmony again. Now, I don't know if you heard about this real quick, and then we'll end the show because I know you got to go. So Harmony 10, the one that just beat Serena Williams, she dropped out of her doubles match with her partner, right? And her partner was pissed.
I think I saw this. But go ahead, read it.
This is a quote from her partner. She just texted me this morning. Tamara Korpachet wrote in an angry Instagram post, let me wait here 1 hour before the match start. I'm very sad, disappointed, and also very angry. I can't play my first doubles Grand Slam. And it's really not fair for me. I mean, it's just, and then she says, okay, and this is the best part. I'm sorry, I have to read this. She goes, she asked me before the tournament if I wanted to play doubles, and I said yes. I didn't ask her. She asked me, ! If you're broken after a 3-hour match the day before, you can't play professional. That's my opinion. She straight out fucking grilled her, bro. Like, she straight out grilled her. All of a sudden, you beat Serena. I'm good. I'm too good to play the doubles. I just beat Serena. I'm gonna go ahead and rest it out and call it a day. Do you think she was wrong in doing that? Do you think she fucked over her teammate, or what do you think?
Oh, do I think that Harmony was wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sign up for something. You sign up for something. You see it through, bro. What are we doing here?
Oh my God, what are we doing?
What are we doing here? Like,
What are we doing?
yeah, what are we doing here? If you sign up for something, you see it through.
All the way.
I mean,
through.
I
Unless you have
teach
an
my
injury.
4-year-old son that. So somebody like Harmony that's a pro athlete should know that. You sign up for something, you see it through. Unless it's some freak thing or injury or something, then of course not. But that's not the case here.
Crazy, man.
She's
crazy.
choosing not to play, which is ridiculous when she committed to something with someone else that's relying on her. It's absurd. Like,
So let me see.
of
You
course
think
she's
we have
tired.
U.S. Open odds up yet?
Of course she's tired. She beat Serena Williams.
So do you think that they have U.S. Open odds up yet? Probably not, huh? Probably too soon.
Probably too soon.
Let's see. Futures. No, just men's Wimbledon. Yeah, well, we'll see, man. When that comes out, we'll definitely talk about it because I definitely want to see what her odds were because I know she was pretty high in this Wimbledon tournament. I mean, she came in ranked 1,000. I think it was 1,240 or something. Like it was insane.
Yeah, and there's got to be a tournament in the middle, so let's hope she doesn't get that one, so we could get good numbers on the Open.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. She doesn't win anything leading up to the Open. You'll get a whole lot more better of in line, whole lot better percentages to buy off of that. So we'll see how that goes, man. But we've come to the end of the show here, man. Taze, what you got, man? Any final thoughts before we let you go, my brother?
No,
Let everyone know where they can find you tomorrow morning, every morning, and everything you got going on social
yeah, I mean, like Jose said before, every morning we do Plug Talk on Spaces and Twitter. My handle is below. You could see it. It's at Taze2K. Give me a follow. We're always doing good content. We're always around. We're always there to help. So hit me up.
There it is, Taze2K, at Taze2K. Go ahead and follow him. Make sure you give him a follow there. And if you're looking to learn, follow, or just start getting some insight on sports gambling, man, trust me, it's free. They're not even charging. And if you don't believe me, every Plug Talk space is recorded, so you can go back and listen to it, and you can see how many winners are being given out. Some of these guys have VIPs, and they're not just giving them out on their VIPs. They give out some regulars Twitter picks, and those fucking Twitter picks hit. I'm telling you, man, it works. It happens all the time. I'm a part of the Wise Guys Diamond Club, so that's the premium VIP that I'm a part of. I push that as much as I could, but I just tell people to follow what they feel. If you're a gambler, whether you're a novice or you're a rookie, professional, whatever you call yourself, be smart, man. Know what you're doing. Don't chase, which is the biggest thing. And the other thing, it's okay to take a day off, man. Nothing wrong with that. But once again, I am Jose V. For my co-host, Ian B., the newest member of the team, Taze, over there in New York, chiming in with us tonight. We'll have him on next week. I want to let each and every one of you know, starting next week, let me get a free camera here so we can let everyone know what we got. I want to give a big shout out to Quan59 over at Gorilla Cross Radio. Starting next week, Wednesday, July 6th, 4 p.m. on the West Coast, brand new time, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. So it's going to give everyone an opportunity to watch without any issues, without any problems, without any excuses. We'll be back in the studio live on Gorilla Cross Radio. We are so excited, so thankful for everyone that was a part of getting the sponsor to get back in the show, helping us with the funding, back in the studio, our silent partners, and of course, the people that helped us out on Twitter. Big shout out to Chef Mike, our guy Mike Jones on Twitter, and of course, Plug Talk. He also plugged. He chimed in, helped out a little bit financially there. So I got to give credit where credit is due, man. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of it. But we're excited, man. 1 month layoff, but it gave us an opportunity to show you guys a different side of us, a side that you've never seen, a side that shows you how normal we truly are away from just the media aspect of everything. But, man, thank you so much again to all the listeners, all the followers. I don't call you fans because I'm not famous. I'm not that type of person. I appreciate each and every one of you for chiming in every week, for dropping the likes, the comments, the shares, all of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, next week, 4 p.m., brand new time, same station. We're back on Gorilla Cross Radio, baby. See you then. Till then, I am Jose V for EMB, for Eric Navarro of Line 'em Up by Eric, for letting us hang out here at the barbershop one last time. Make sure you give him a follow. If you got to get a haircut,
Booksy is the app to download. Line them up by Eric. He'll take care of you. So thank you to each and every one of you. Jay Madrazos for producing the show the last couple of weeks and tonight as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you guys next week. Till then, we are out. Peace.